Hello guys, I am V. Sai Srinivas of 10th class from Mathman. I will be explaining today's editorial, so let's get started. So today our editorial's title is The Ganga's Message. India must take its law on waste seriously to stop microplastics pollution. The Ganga might have stood witness to many stages of India's civilization, as Mahatma Gandhi once noted, but in recent decades it has become a conduit for sewage, solid fibers, uh, microplastics, and other industrial effluents. It is depressing, though not surprising, therefore, that a new study by NGO has found evidence of a modern day scourge microplastics in the river, with the highest concentration in Varanasi and Kanpur, followed by Haridwar. What the data shows is the alarming presence of plastic filaments, fibers, fragments, and in two places microbeads, with their composition pointing to both industrial and secondary broken down plastics from articles of everyday use. These range from tires, clothing, food packaging, bags, consumer cosmetics, microbeads, covers, and other municipal waste. The finding of significant levels of microscopic particles invisible to the naked eye at below 300 micrometers to 5 millimeters in the country's holiest rivers calls into question the progress of two high priority, well funded missions of the NDA government, Swachh Bharat to deal with the solid waste and Namami Ganje to rid the river of its pollution. Surprisingly, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's support for the river cleanup, originally scheduled to be implemented by December 2020, has not saved it from serious deficits. Official data shows us that 97 Ganga towns may be discharging about 750 million liters of untreated sewage a day into the river. As environmental activist Gurudas Agrawal died in 2018 after fasting a protest, and his letter to Mr. Modi did not change the situation. Microplastics recorded in recent times in the remotest of places, Mount Everest, Arctic snow, Icelandic glaciers, the French Pyrenees, and the depths of the Mariana Trench, among others, pose a hazard as plastics production outpassed the ability of governments to collect and manage waste. Successive governments issued waste management rules but dropped the ball on implementation. Although the center recently issued a draft to tighten the plastic waste management rules, cities have failed to implement existing rules as well as solid waste management rules on ending single-use plastics, waste segregation, recycling labels on packaging, extended producer responsibility for manufacturers, and recovery of materials. Moreover, growing plastic waste will far exceed the capacity of government to manage it, given that recycling has its limits. Microplastics recorded in recent times in the remotest of places, Mount Everest, Arctic snow, Icelandic glaciers, and the French Pyrenees, the depths of the Mariana Trench, among others, pose a hazard as plastics production outpaces the ability of governments to collect and manage waste. Successive governments waste tighten management rules but drop the ball on implementation. Moreover, growing plastic waste will far exceed the capacity of government to manage it, given that recycling has its limits. Swachh Bharat, therefore, must mean not merely keeping waste out of sight, achieve thorough costly dumping contracts, but sharply reduce generation, full segregation, and recycling. Plastic waste around the world is threatening the food web, and the crisis demands a new global treaty modeled on the Montreal Protocol and the Paris Agreement. India needs to demonstrate that it is serious about a cleanup at home. So, guys, Ganga, it is one of the perennial rivers of India. It flows through many states. Over the past few years, many industries and cities have been dumping their sewage and industrial waste into Ganga. Because of this, the concentration of substances in the river changed. Now, the river is polluted. Once upon a time, it was clean and it was even used for drinking. Now, it is not suitable for drinking and any other uses. Microplastics, they are the waste that is produced from the used plastic bags, cosmetics, and other appliances. So, they were found along with fibers and fragments of plastic in the river. They pose danger to the whole river. So, immediate action must be taken. The concentration of pollutants is highest at Varanasi because they also dump other things. So, more than 750 towns are there along the river, and per day about 750 million liters of sewage and industrial waste is released into the river. So imagine what would happen. So it is like it is even outnumbering the good things, and it is making the holiest river in our country nothing but a polluted dump. So, in the past, in December 2020, when action was about to be taken against it, Mr. Narendra Modi has said that he will be supporting for the cleaning of river, but actually he never did it. Guru Das Agrawal, who is an environmental activist, he died in 2018 because he did a protest and he did fasting for continuous days. And you know what happens when our human bodies don't get food? We starve, and because of that we die. So he died, and he even wrote a letter to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, but it did not change even a single thing. So these microplastics are seen not only in Ganga but at many impossible places such as Mount Everest, Arctic snow, Icelandic glaciers, and many more. They pose more danger. So many governments tighten the sewage management rules and also plastic waste management rules. Even though they took all these, the one thing they didn't do is implementation. When you don't implement something you thought of, there is no use in thinking of it at all. It will be tough for the upcoming governments because the production of plastic and also the disposal of plastic is increasing day by day, and it is out of their hands now. and if they let it be, it might be uh, impossible for them to stop it at all. So the recycling of plastic can only be done to some extent. So even though it costs money, they must take necessary steps and avoid it. So there are two protocols that would help the river Ganga: Swachh Bharat and Namamani protocol. So the Swachh Bharat was implemented a long ago, and it showed some great results, but actually nothing did change at all. India remains the same, disgusting, and they must do. The people must also take responsibility in keeping their surroundings clean. They must not throw or dump all their waste in the river. It might cause them problems in the future. So India wants to give a proposal at the World Summit regarding the climate changes, and also India wants to prove that it is serious about these things. It just don't talk but also show in action. Thank you.